Major developments overnight and minutes ago on your second stimulus check in the continuing resolution. Larry Kudlow appears on CNBC and talks about a couple things, but talks about repurposing CARES Act 1 money. Says that there's at least $600 billion that could be repurposed for CARES Act 1 into a second stimulus package for the CR. But he doesn't talk about something else. Meantime, $1,200 stimulus checks are coming out if you're in New Mexico. $375 stimulus checks are coming out if you're in Colorado. More stimulus checks are coming out across the country from states, including California. It's giving $25,000 to some business owners. As states are now sending out stimulus checks right now, I'll have some of those states and the stimulus checks you can be getting. Meantime, great promising news overnight and confirmed by Larry Kudlow minutes ago that the negotiations on the CR are not so tight, that Mitch McConnell's a little bit too optimistic, and that the playing field is still wide open for people to make suggestions on what needs to be in there. Hashtag stimulus checks or shutdown. Purple power, make the push. This is the window of opportunity. Meantime, a new proposal overnight, controversial, and I'll have my personal remarks, says that in a new bill, they want to give you a stimulus check if you particularly do something, but they're not requiring rich people to do it to get their stimulus relief. Controversial? I think so. I'll have all these details and more on a Friday morning. I'm so glad you joined me. The toast is toasted, the butter is buttering. I'm here, you're here, and this is Friday's Mornings LALATE. Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Friday Mornings LA with big news across the board. Stimulus checks, second stimulus package, state stimulus checks, extended benefits, UI, PUA. I have so much to go over. But first, before I do, please subscribe, because in this video, at the later part of the video, I'll be going over how to get you money right now. I'm getting thousands and thousands of viewers and money right now, not 5 days from now, not 5 weeks from now, not 5 months from now. If you have looked to get this money, I'm stepping it up with new ability to get you this money that we've never had before. This is not $500, it's $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. That's money available for you right now. There's no less than 9 incredible volunteers that are assisting me day and night to get you this CARES Act 1 money. Please subscribe, because no one is here to ensure that you get this money during the pandemic. And I don't mean in January. I mean by the end of the middle of next week. Really quick. So please subscribe. Also, like this video. It really helps in the algorithm rankings. We're ranking currently #1 today. In this video, I have a lot to go over. First, I'll go over where the negotiations are on the continuing resolution, the budget bill, the CR, the stimulus in the CR. What I want to make very clear, if you missed a lot of the recordings yesterday, is that the situation is very complicated. I'm going to make it very simple to you. But before I start, I want to make something very clear. There's no single bill. There is no bill. There's a lot of proposals, and they can't even agree upon the proposals. So I want to make that very clear as we start. Next, I'll be getting to the comments by Larry Kudlow minutes ago, in which he talked about repurposing CARES Act 1 money. Exactly what I talk about on this channel. Gave us the number, and also spoke about something but didn't speak about something else. I'll be going over those details. And then the new controversial bill that says, you know what, I want to give you an $1,800 or $1,500 or $2,000 stimulus check, but you have to do something for me to give it to you. And I'm not going to require rich people to do it. I have some comments about that. Then $1,200 stimulus checks from a state. Yes, states are sending out stimulus checks today, this week. So you will be getting a $1,200 stimulus check if you're in certain states. $375 if you're in another state, $25,000 if you're in a third state. A lot of state stimulus checks are coming out, and that's on top of new benefits that states are issuing for UI and PUA. All exciting news, and we're staying up to date by the minute on what's going on in Congress. With that, Let's start with the breaking news. The breaking news as you sit here today is really Larry Kudlow. Larry Kudlow, who's the chief economic advisor to the president, the single most important economic ear in the voice in the president's ear, spoke on CNBC minutes ago. And he said that I don't understand what these negotiators are doing in this continuing resolution. There's $600 billion, this is Larry's words, this is $600 billion of CARES Act 1 money sitting at SBA that is unused from PPP. I've been telling them for weeks to repurpose that money as stimulus. Let's go over that. First, he used the word repurpose about 5 times, repeating the words of this channel and my words. Second, he confirmed the location of the money, again confirming my words. Third, he gave us a number value, very close to the number value I said. I've been saying it's $800 billion. He says it's $600 billion. Now, it may have been reduced because Steve Mnuchin's been taking things back. You know, he took about $151 billion back recently. But Larry says it's at least $600 billion. He's saying exactly what I've been saying for weeks on this channel. Now, we got that part of the equation. The next part of the equation was skewed. He said that I think that a stimulus package needs to go out and it needs to have unemployment benefits, some amount, but should go at least to May. Interesting. He doesn't want to go 30 days. These lawmakers, which I'm going to get to in a second, only want to go 4 weeks. He wants to go to the middle of next year. He says it should be some amount. I don't really care so much about the weekly amount, says Larry. $300, you can go higher. I don't care. Interesting. But it needs to go out right away. That's singularly the most important thing that we're talking about here, says Larry. And then he says we need some more PPP. And then you hear the silence. Yes, there was no mention of stimulus check. And Larry and Jim Cramer had the audacity to come in the conversation. Says, I love you, Larry. You checked every single box that we need right now. No, Jim Cramer, he forgot to check the box for stimulus check. Did you not hear that, Jim Cramer? Are you talking too much about your restaurant again? So needless to say, it was all good until we heard a drop and we didn't hear the stimulus check. Now, here is where you are and I am with the stimulus check today. Last night, we heard incredible progress, and it was confirmed by Larry Kudlow minutes ago that update, that the stimulus negotiations for the CR are not close. They are not near the finish line. The problem solvers have been giving a fake narrative saying that it's almost done. The president says it's not done. The president says he's not supporting the problem solvers bill of $900 billion. The problem solvers say that Nancy Pelosi is coming in today and she's going to be going higher than $900 billion and that they won't accept Nancy Pelosi going higher than $900 billion. Chuck Grassley says that Nancy Pelosi is going to come in higher than $900 billion and he's not accepting anything higher than that. And Mitch McConnell says, I'm at $500 billion. I'm not going to the problem solvers $900 billion. So there's no agreement on much of anything. And Larry Kudlow this morning says, you know what? I think Mitch McConnell's a little too optimistic about this in his statements yesterday, but I'll let him talk how he wants to talk. Translation, there is opportunity for us to get in the truck and drive it in and say, where are the stimulus checks? 3 things, stimulus checks, eviction moratorium, and mortgage forbearance need to be in here because there is no bill, there is no agreement on a proposal, there is no less than 4 proposals at the moment, well, at least 3. There's Mitch's, there's the problem solvers, there'll be Nancy's, and there may be the president's revisions as well. So we're up to 4 versions of things at the moment. It's that crazy a situation. So here you go. Take this video, share it on Twitter, share it on Instagram, share it on Facebook, tag the following people. McConnell's chief of staff, McConnell's press secretary, McConnell's communications director, Nancy Pelosi's chief of staff, and then every single problem solver that wants to have the audacity to stand there and talk about how wonderful their bill is when they took out both of their 2 stimulus checks from their latest proposal, but put in stuff for other things like big business that doesn't need it. We learned this morning that a $1,200 stimulus check would cost about $380 billion. Well, a $1,500 stimulus check would cost about $380 billion. So Mitch McConnell's at $500. If Mitch McConnell repurposed that CARES Act 1 money of $600 billion, according to Larry Kudlow, it would cost 0 to send out a stimulus check. Say it again. Larry Kudlow confirms there's $600 billion of SBA unused CARES Act 1 PPP money. I think it's 800, but he says it's 600. We now know that a $1,500 stimulus check costs about $360 billion. So by that account, all you have to do is repurpose CARES Act 1 money to send out a stimulus check. Larry Kudlow says repurpose money. He says there's a lot of money to repurpose. Now we know there's enough to repurpose a $5,000 stimulus check, as I've been saying for months. But at least there's enough to repurpose a $1,500 stimulus check or an $1,800 stimulus check. This message needs to be made very loud and clear. Next, incredible news across the board. As Joe Biden, no less than 2 days ago, says, I'm going to send out multiple stimulus checks in January. I'm going to send out $2,400 as SSI and SSDI. I'm going to send out a 20% increase on SSI and a new benchmark from SSI. I'm also going to send out hazard pay. I'm also going to send out EIDL. And I know I have to update you about that. And then viewers ask me, will it be the Harris plan of $2,000 every month for 6 months? I think it has to be, because Harris has said in her recordings that $1,200 is an insufficient number, and she said that in May. So when Joe Biden says he's going to give you multiple stimulus checks in January, it can't be a $1,200 stimulus check. But you and I know, I'm not going to get off a point. You and I know that you can't wait to January for a stimulus check, and we're tired of being told, wait another 4 weeks, I'll take care of you in another 4 weeks. No, you take care of us now, folks. You take care of us now. As I used the word yesterday, and apparently viewers really resonated to the word, I'm going to use it again today. It is inhumane. It is inhumane for the problem solvers to talk about how wonderful their bill is when you want to have citizens evicted on January 1 because there's no mortgage forbearance, no eviction moratorium, and you want people to lose their houses on January 1 because you have no mortgage forbearance in place. That's inhumane, along with not giving them a stimulus check. It is inhumane. And for anyone to sit back and say they've done a wonderful job for American citizens, you haven't. Now, what is humane, and thank you, governors, thank you, states, thank you for really stepping up. States are doing an incredible job, and this is the real message of great hope this morning. In New Mexico, congratulations, because you're going to get a $1,200 stimulus check. Residents of New Mexico are getting a $1,200 stimulus check in the next few days. This is incredible. In Colorado, you're getting a $375 stimulus check. What is this? This is money. They're saying, hey, Congress is not stepping up, so we're going to give you money. In Alaska, they're giving a stimulus fund to certain parts of Anchorage's economy. So some people in Anchorage, some residents of Anchorage are getting a stimulus check as well. In New York, they're announcing a no-interest program to citizens. I have more about New York in a second. And then in California has announced a $25,000 grant for businesses. Now, other cities, states, and counties have stepped up, and you say, you know what? We need to give you more money during the holidays. So we're going to do it as a rent grant. This is money right now. This is money right now, and this is how I'm fighting to get you money. New York has announced a new rent grant program. Houston, new rent grant program. Colorado, New Mexico. San Diego County, new rent grant programs. This is from the government, from the city, from the county. Brand new. So go get it. Go get it. And we're here to help you to get it. Meantime, other communities like Mississippi, Alabama, and Kentucky, private organizations are paying rent grants to viewers of this channel. Viewers of this channel continue to step forward and say, thank you for changing my life during the holidays, getting $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 across states. Every state is doing something. Do not presume your state has nothing. Every state has something, whether it's rent or utilities or more. Next, a new controversial bill suggests, you know what, I am proposing that Americans get an $1,800 stimulus check. And here's the bill, but there's a catch. What's the catch? Well, people who are desperately in need of a stimulus check, poor people who made less than $20,000 or less than $40,000, people who are struggling to not become homeless, they're saying, I'll give you a stimulus check, but you have to take a vaccine for it. There's a new controversial bill that says they'll pay you a stimulus check if you take a vaccine. And they'll pay you to take the vaccine. Now, for some of you that are taking the vaccine, that's fine, and you're perfectly fine to take the stimulus check. But if when you step back and look at it, they're not telling the airline executives who are getting a $50 billion bailout of free grant money, we'll give you the grant money for the airlines if the airline CEOs come into the office and take a vaccine. They're not telling rich people that we're not going to give you rich people money, like $2 million of PPP for business owners if you come and get a vaccine. Why is it that people who are desperately in need of something have to do something when rich people don't have to do anything to get their stimulus relief? I don't like it. Next, what's important to understand is that the next few hours of today are going to be very confusing. And I want you to understand that the situation is the following. The door for stimulus checks is not closed. Second, there is no one single bill. Third, there are multiple competing forces. The president is backing whatever Mitch McConnell will do. Mitch McConnell and the president have both confirmed those words. The problem solvers do not have Nancy Pelosi on point yet, and she's expected to potentially defy them as well. So you have all these really different forces, and you are yet another force to reckon with. Purple power, get the message loud and clear: stimulus checks, eviction moratorium, and mortgage forbearance. That's the first thing. The second thing is that most of the proposals here are doing two really good things. One, they're going to extend UI. So if your unemployment weeks have run out or are about to run out, they will not. They're going to extend your UI for about 1 month. You don't have to do anything except certify for benefits on a weekly basis. Next, the same thing is going to be done with PUA. Third, FPUC may or may not get in here, but this is what's going to happen with FPUC potentially. That they'll give you about the month of December and the month of January, about 4 to 8 weeks of FPUC at some number, presumably about $300 a week. And that's it, because Joe Biden has said in the last 48 hours, he's going to give you retroactive FPUC back to August at $600 a week. Now, I have to report what he says. If Joe Biden does not see the Senate fall to the Democrats, I do not know how in the universe he thinks he's going to get $600 past Mitch McConnell in the Senate retroactive to July in mid-January, which is about 25 weeks. I don't know how many weeks that is. Even if it's 30 weeks at $600 a week, that's what is that? $18,000? It's just, I don't know where he thinks that's going to happen, but I have to report it. There you go. Meantime, what I need you to understand is that we're getting people money right now. And I promised I was going to end with this. And this is what's important. We're getting people money right now. And this is how you need to remain focused. Your city hall has the money, your county hall, your state housing authority, for rent. But we're now seeing that city housing authorities have rent, that city and county housing or poverty departments or assistance program departments have the rent, and that the rent programs are not necessarily anymore in the city hall, but in parts of the city hall that simply we never thought of looking at before. That's the good news. The second good news is that every state is paying utility grants nearly almost anywhere. So please do not take out of consideration utility grants. You start by reaching out to your city and state and county for the rent, and you then reach out to utility companies for the utility grants. Nearly every viewer has found a utility grant in their city or state. So if you're looking for rent first and you're having problems with rent, then go to utilities. If you get the utilities, then also reach out to a volunteer, because the volunteers and I know about 3 to 4 private organizations, whether they're religious or political, that are paying rent grants across the country in certain communities. And so it's important to understand that if, for example, you were in Houston, you could have gotten a rent grant up to last week from a religious organization that was paying rent. The same thing has happened in Kentucky, Louisiana, Alabama. These private organizations are paying rent grants. Next, the next thing important for you to do is escalate benefits. I want you to get escalated benefits done now, because we're going into the holiday season. And because of lockdowns, staffings at unemployment departments of your states will get smaller and smaller, and they're going to do things less and less. So I want you to get these escalated benefits claims in right now. Moreover, I don't want it to make it sound confusing when you do escalated benefits next year based upon tax returns from 2 years ago. So I don't want you to wait till next year to start doing this. I want you to do this now. Viewers continue to get these escalated benefits. And the important thing to remember is that if you are employed now, that's not a problem. It's the escalated benefits for the time in which you were unemployed. And finally, do not refer to it as escalated benefits because complicated words confuse people on the phone. Just use simple words. Escalated benefits is what you and I refer to it as. Finally, EIDL. Get it and get it quickly. I made a special recording yesterday about EIDL just for you. It's a special video about EIDL. Go watch it if you have questions about EIDL. And Being a Mitch yesterday was a special recording just about unemployment. So watch that as well. I may bring it back again today if you wish it. It was a live recording but dedicated specifically to Q&A about unemployment. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, stay focused, and join me on Holidays LALATE at 12 noon. And have a good morning.